punches, drill positioning handles, and twist drills with drill stops were selected from the Navigator surgical kit using the drill sequence instructions received from Materialize Dental to prepare the osteotomies. After the patient was anesthetized, the surgical guide was placed intraorally using the occlusal record to confirm accurate placement. Using the drilling unit on high speed, a 1.5 millimeter diameter drill was passed through the fixation tubes in the surgical guide to prepare for placement of fixation screws. The surgical guide was fixated to the edentulous maxilla with 2 millimeter diameter bone screws from Biomet Microfixation. A hand screwdriver was used to place the fixation screws into the 2 buccal fixation tubes, followed by the palatal fixation tube. The appropriate sized tissue punches were passed through the master tubes at a slow speed, with irrigation to the appropriate predetermined depth. The cortical punch countersink drill was used next to shape the bone crest and to perforate the cortical plate to pilot the subsequent twist drill. The osteotomies and implant placement were done first in tooth site numbers 6 and 11 for bilateral fixation of the surgical guide. Based on the information received from Materialize, the 2 millimeter drill positioning handle and the appropriate length 2 millimeter diameter twist drill with drill stop was used with copious irrigation. The 3 millimeter drill positioning handle was then positioned into the master tube in tooth site number 6, and a 3 millimeter diameter twist drill with drill stop was used to full depth. The 3 millimeter diameter drill was selected by the clinician to undersize the osteotomies due to the presence of poor bone quality. These steps were repeated for tooth site number 11. The proper diameter and length implant mounts were selected from the Navigator surgical kit and placed into the internal interface of the implants according to the surgical plan received from Materialize. The implants in tooth sites 6 and 11 received 4 millimeter diameter nanotight certain implants, which were placed at a slow speed with the drilling unit. Final seating of the implants was accomplished using a hand ratchet to ensure that the positioning grooves on the implant mounts were aligned with the rotational positioning grooves on the master tubes to transfer the proper alignment of the hexes from the master cast to the mouth. Preparation of the other 4 osteotomies was accomplished following the same drilling sequence. All of the 6 implant sites received 4 millimeter diameter nanotight certain implants placed through the master tubes using the drilling unit on slow speed. The bone screws were removed, followed by gentle removal of the implant mounts from the master tubes. The surgical guide was then removed, and an Ostel smart peg was placed into each implant to obtain a radio frequency analysis reading, which was done to confirm initial primary implant stability. Manual bone profilers were used to shape the bone coronal to the implant prosthetic seating surfaces. The conical abutments were placed into the implants and secured with abutment screws, which were tightened to 20 Newton centimeters of torque. QuickBridge titanium cylinders were placed into each abutment and hand tightened. Followed by placement of QuickBridge caps, which were snapped onto the titanium cylinders. The provisional restoration was tried in to ensure an absence of binding over the caps for complete seating. The prosthesis was removed, and the intaglio surfaces were filled with acrylic resin. The provisional restoration was then seated, and the patient was brought to centric occlusion. Once the material set, the restoration was gently removed from the mouth with a forceps. The QuickBridge caps were now incorporated into the restoration, and the voids around the caps were filled with acrylic resin. Chlorhexidine gel was placed into the QuickBridge caps, and the prosthesis was snapped into position over the titanium cylinders.